Mhm. Hi, everybody. Hope you had a good day today. Another chilly day overall here on the west side of the state, and really everywhere but the coast. But here on the west side, because a lot of us did not get much sunshine once again in the valley. Some did, others did not. Hey, lost in the headline news of the California fires last week is the fact that Thursday of last week, and then confirmed with their weekly report yesterday. NOAA has announced that finally it is here, La Nina, barely. And I'm going to get into how long this is going to last and how strong it will be in a moment. But remember, there were initial reports that we could be in La Nina as early as July of this past summer. And this was a big part of my winter outlook. The fact that it wasn't certain if La Nina was going to arrive. If it did, we'd probably just barely get into it and it would be short lived. And then we get back to neutral, which looks like that's going to be the case. So I would not expect some sudden shift of madness of what's going on simply because temperatures in this case have actually cooled a tenth to two tenths of a degree Celsius. Very minute, because if this is La Nina, if you have to get to here, we've been right here for months, and now we finally got right there. So we're just barely in La Nina. Okay. We'll talk about that in a second. Also, and I talked about this yesterday, still tracking this cold Canadian high. There have been numerous outpourings of cold air coming out of Canada and hitting the eastern U.S. this winter. In fact, temperatures much of the day today were below zero in places like Fargo, North Dakota. It was below zero this morning in Des Moines, Iowa. There's a new shot of cold air coming in this weekend, and it still looks like as early as developing this coming Saturday, we will start feeding east winds off of this latest batch of cold air coming down. It's a large air mass, and we will feed off the backside of it, if you will, and that will help give us sunny skies, but it will also dry out our air mass. And remember, when you remove water vapor from an air mass, when you lower the dew point, you have the potential to get that much colder at night. And that's why it still looks like we're looking at single digits to start next week. Dr. Martin Luther King Day on Monday in Eastern Oregon, and potentially parts of the Willamette Valley being really close to 20 degrees for an absolute hard freeze. So, more on that coming up as well. Okay. Quick shout out to the Momentous Wealth podcast. Again, they have a recent upload for you. You can listen to a library of investment topics meant to educate you on Apple Podcasts, listen on Spotify from local firm Momentous Wealth Management, licensed in both Oregon and Washington. So we thank them for continuing to sponsor my work. Okay, here is the projection of how long we're going to be La Nina. This does not tell you how strong it's going to be, but I will tell you, you have to get down for a period of time to a half a degree Celsius cooler than normal in the water temperatures off the coast of South America. So we're like, so you have to get to at least zero point 0.5 degrees Celsius cooler than normal. And that's where we're at. We're kind of zero point 0.5, zero point 0.6 degrees Celsius cooler than normal, averaged over the last several weeks. So we're just barely there. This La Nina is not really expected to get any stronger. It's going to continue to be weak. This does keep us in blue, a projection of La Nina through the month of February and probably into the month of March. There's January, February, March. But somewhere in March and April, we start to pull out of it. And then by the time we're probably in April or no later than May, see the gray bars overtake us? The short-lived La Nina is gone, and just like that, we're in a neutral INSO pattern all the way into summer. Here's August, September, October, and this does show, possibilities of maybe another La Nina starting to cool in the Pacific waters. But the big story for now is we finally just barely gotten into a weak La Nina. It's only going to last through February or March, and we'll probably pull out of it at some point in the month of April, which is what this shows you, if you will. Okay. This is really pretty. The coast was fabulous today. Temperatures have been in the 50s again in parts of the beaches. Sunshine all day. This is the Inn at Ottercrest in Lincoln County. Beautiful big resort property. They have a camera looking south and then west out over the Pacific, and the camera caught the setting sun this evening. So just absolutely beautiful. It was 48 in Astoria, 49 in Florence. There were some temperatures, I think, around Lincoln City that did hit 50 degrees along the coast today. It was the garden spot. And then here are the other temperatures. PDX 41, which equaled yesterday's high temperature. There was some sun that developed in downtown Portland early this afternoon, and then especially on the east side out toward Gresham. but it wasn't enough to really allow a lot of warming. And a lot of the valley simply didn't get any sun again. We didn't up here in Vancouver. It stayed totally cloudy. It was only 37 out in Hillsboro, a sign that it stayed foggy and cloudy all day. Aurora was 39. Salem was only 40. Corvallis only 37. There was no wind, so we didn't have any wind chill. So hopefully, if you're out and about, you didn't think it was that bad. Over in Bend, they had sunshine, 54 degrees. That might have been the warm spot in the state. North Bend, down on the south coast, was a warm spot, 56 degrees. But Bend was lovely. Okay. Let's get you going with what's going on. So high pressure ridge, high pressure at the surface, all continuing tomorrow. What changes is that tomorrow, by the time you wake up in the morning, we have a developing temperature inversion, and that's going to trigger overnight tonight into early Wednesday morning, east winds coming out of the gorge. They don't look particularly strong, but it wouldn't take much wind to clear out the fog, at least in low cloud cover in the North Valley, Portland, and Vancouver. That should happen, and we'll get into some beautiful sunny skies. Some of the modeling does suggest, let me backtrack for a second, the east winds with the temperature inversion in the west gorge out into Trato could be gusting between 30 and 40 miles per hour tomorrow. So we'll see what we end up with. The stronger those winds, the more rapid and widespread the clearing will be in parts of at least the North Willamette Valley. Okay. Big high pressure area, absolutely dry. That was today. Little change on this tomorrow. See this trough passing to our north? This is Thursday. I have removed any chance of rain. It looks like any moisture with that front will be well to our north. You can see the main trough axis is actually near the Canadian border and farther to the north. But this will, after we get a temperature inversion developing tonight and tomorrow, that little wave of cooler weather coming in on Thursday will tear down the temperature inversion and erode the east winds. And after a gusty east wind day tomorrow coming out of the gorge, winds on Thursday will veer and calm and turn to the southwest. Okay. And then this passing low, it basically opens the door for now. Look how elongated this cold trough is for this next cold Canadian high to start sending air all the way down into places like Texas this weekend. This is the air mass that we will, starting Saturday, feed off of an east wind and set the stage for some really clear cold nights. You can see the ridging out in the Pacific, keeping us absolutely dry. So the forecast, outside of any mist with fog, is bone dry through at least Wednesday of next week. I mean, here's Monday, Dr. Martin Luther King Day, Tuesday. We're getting into Wednesday. Even Thursday of next week, this is ridging that's weakened, but that's still really quiet, probably dry. And you see the cold troughing across the east, pretty much what we've seen much of this winter. Then the ridge breaks down going into Friday the 24th. And let me just play this out. Remember, this is the polar jet. For cold air, this is what I'm looking at, this dark blue contour. You need that to get south of the northwest to really significantly cool off. This is the American GFS model. And I want to see what it's going to go all the way into Thursday, January 30th, okay? Some of the modeling is taking this cold trough and really dropping it down, maybe reducing snow levels to about 2,000 feet. This does show it's somewhere the last weekend in January to the first days of February. There's probably a storm front coming in with this trough and this low developing back to our west, but that's a long ways out and plenty of time to keep an eye on that. Okay. So I mentioned the Thursday system. Here's the rain. See the green? This is Thursday morning. Moisture central to northern Washington. This does show traceable amounts in Astoria and out to the gorge, which most models don't even give us a trace of moisture on Thursday. For the most part, I would expect the rain to be up here in the green areas. And then we just stay dry all the way into the weekend, and there's really nothing going on. So the big story really with the dry forecast is simply to track what the temperatures are going to be doing. This coming Saturday morning is the first time I'll really start to look at low temperatures. I've got this widened out so you can see into Nebraska and Kansas and the Dakotas because I want to show you the temperature plunge with this cold Canadian air coming down over the weekend. So these are low numbers, but this does show in Eastern Oregon, Saturday morning, there's an 11, 18 degrees. There is 29 degrees up and down the I-5 corridor in Oregon, 30, 31 up in Seattle. And then with east winds starting to develop, daytime highs won't get that warm. This shows low to mid 40s from Seattle down to Eugene. Daytime highs around freezing out east. But look at the daytime highs out in the Dakotas and down to Nebraska, only in the single digits and the teens and some below zero numbers, even during the day up in North Dakota. Now, the absolute coldest weather for us looks to be Sunday morning, Monday morning, which is Dr. Martin Luther King Day, and into Tuesday morning. All days will be sunny. Here's Sunday morning showing 27, 28 in the valley. Again, a lot of teens and some single digits in eastern Oregon, cold in eastern Washington. And if this is showing 27, 28, 27 in the main reporting size, that means some of the outlying areas like Dallas, McMinnville, Battleground have a chance to at least be 22, 23. Again, a hard freeze. And look at the low temperatures up in the Dakotas, minus 20 degrees below zero right there. Wow. Okay. Let's go and go into Dr. Martin Luther King Day on Monday morning. Okay, this is not going to show me the absolute low. This shows, so -2. So it's showing about 27 in Portland, about 25 down through Salem into Albany. And again, there could be some areas closer to 20 up and down the I-5 corridor, 20s up in Seattle as well. There's a 5 in Central Oregon, or excuse me, Eastern Oregon. So single digits, very cold. Below zero numbers all the way down to Nebraska and into Colorado. Single digits into Kansas and teens all the way down into Texas. This is really, really cold. I think once we get past Tuesday morning, you see here, we'll start to moderate a little bit. Again, look at the numbers across the Dakotas, -5, single digits in the Texas Panhandle. Wow. Upper 20s, which means at least mid 20s, maybe low 20s again in parts of the I-5 corridor, the Willamette Valley, 20s to 30 up in Seattle, and again, some single digits in Eastern Oregon. So it's a really cold batch of air. And there will be into the valley an east wind to some degree blowing, not necessarily only in the gorge, too. There could be winds down slipping off the Cascades. That will add a chill to some of these frigid temperatures on top of what we just talked about. All right, so that's really what I'm looking at. Let's go around the horn. Medford going to be all dry. Lowest temperatures Saturday 28, Sunday 26, Dr. Martin Luther King Day 25, actually at 22 Friday morning. Wow. Okay. So Thursday 56 degrees and then it gets much colder. So enjoy that down in Medford. Bend, one of the great spots today, and more 50s coming with sunny skies tomorrow and Thursday. And then look at the sharp drop behind that Thursday front. Friday's high only 38, 37, 34, 8, 15 degrees Sunday morning, 18 Dr. Martin Luther King morning on Monday. Wow, really cold stuff. All right. Up in Seattle, how cold do we go? We have a legitimate chance of showers up in Seattle on Thursday and really anywhere north of, say, Kelso Longview. Partly sunny skies Friday, and then there's Seattle getting into the 20s, 27 Sunday morning. Sunny skies, a high of only about 40 degrees. Okay, all right. Salem, how cold are you going to go? Really no legitimate chance of rain, and for the most part, mostly sunny skies coming once clouds start to clear out on Wednesday. This shows decreasing clouds on Wednesday. It's probably a good call, temperature of about 40. And then you've got lows in the mid 20s on Sunday and Monday morning and Tuesday morning, daytime highs in the 40s with sunny skies and at least a noticeable east breeze. Okay, North Bend, what do you got? All dry? Freezing. Well, 29 Sunday morning is the coldest number this is giving. Daytime highs, though, still upper 40s to about 50. And then it does appear, see how Tuesday warms to 54? So Tuesday is the day that we start to moderate and we start to feed more off of a new Pacific high moving in. And that cold Canadian high starts to get far enough east that it's no longer feeding us, and east winds would start to fade. Okay, so that's why Tuesday looks to be warmer right down there in North Bend. All right, here's my Portland 7-day forecast, courtesy of Hazeldale Tire Pros up here in Clark County on Highway 99. Banking on the fact it's been 41 the last 2 days. If we get developing sun during the morning with east winds in Portland on Wednesday, we've got to be at least 5 degrees warmer than we have been. So that'd be 46. I'm forecasting 48. Sunny skies, some noticeable east winds, gusty east winds out near the gorge. And then Thursday, calming winds, partly cloudy, no rain chance. Sunday or Friday, mostly sunny, 35 to 46. There will be some freezing areas Friday morning. And then here we go with the east winds Saturday, Sunday into Monday, and then calming winds on Tuesday. 27 Sunday morning, 26 Dr. Martin Luther King morning on Monday, 27 on Tuesday. And again, right now, the next rain chance I show potentially is not until Friday of next week. That's a long dry stretch. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoyed the video, please do so. That helps me out. You'll be notified when I post. For now, I'm meteorologist Rod Hill. Thank you for watching.